and welcome to this new video for my channel, The Mental Traveler. I'm Caro Herrera, and today I'm going to be reviewing a historical fiction novel called When Christ and His Saints Slept. It was written by Sharon Kay Penman and it was published in 1996, and it's the first book in her series about the Plantagenets dynasty. Before I begin though, let me just say that since this is historical fiction, whatever I say can really be considered a spoiler, but unless you're not familiarized with that particular bit of history, you may want to beware, particularly if you don't want to be spoiled about who Henry II was, or his wife Eleanor of Aquitaine, or their ancestors and descendants. A few years ago, I read my first Sharon Kay Penman novel, The Sun in Splendor, and I totally fell in love with it. It's one of my favorite books ever. But despite the fact that I'm a history lover, a royalist, an Anglophile, and thus I love the British royal family, up until a while ago I didn't really know that much about the kings who ruled England during the Middle Ages. So that's why I hadn't read anything else by Penman up until the summer of 2019. But then someone recommended me to try her Welsh Princess trilogy, and I did, and it just blew me away because it was so good, particularly the first one, Here Be Dragons. And so then I had to try this series, which is actually a sort of prequel to the Welsh Princess trilogy, and of course to The Sun in Splendor. Besides, since I didn't really know that much about who Henry II and Eleanor of Aquitaine were, I thought it was gonna be a pretty cool history lesson to get to know them through this book. Years ago, I had watched The Lion in Winter, so that's as much as I knew about these two important historical figures. But Sharon Kay Penman has changed that. I knew a little bit about Henry II because of Peter O'Toole's performance of him in Beckett and in The Lion in Winter, and I knew of Eleanor because of the latter and reference made about her in other movies. But I didn't know they were the parents of the famous Richard the Lionheart and King John from the Robin Hood legends. Still, if I knew a little of Henry and Eleanor, I knew even less of Henry's predecessors. And since When Christ and His Saints Slept dealt mostly with Henry's mother, Empress Matilda, and her decades-long feud with her cousin Stephen over the English throne, this novel is called When Christ and His Saints Slept, because people used to say that during the 20 years or so of their civil war, everything seemed so hopeless that it appeared as if God had forsaken England and turned his attentions elsewhere. Anyways, this is a short summary of the book. William the Conqueror was the first Norman king. His youngest son lost his two heirs, so he decided that his daughter Matilda should rule after him. But in the Middle Ages, not that many people were keen on the idea of having a woman rule over them, so Stephen, a grandson of William the Conqueror, took the throne. And so we see how Stephen tries to hold on to the crown as Matilda tries to reclaim her birthright. I found the ending of the Civil War to be a bit anticlimactic, but ironic for such a long struggle. But overall, I learned tons about this period in time of English history. I give When Christ and His Saints Slept a 4 out of 5 stars review, and I must say that I'm very proud of myself for finishing it, because before I read it, I'd read a lot of reviews that said that people had just abandoned it halfway through. And I think I can sort of see why they said this, because the book kind of gets a bit slow with the endless struggle between Matilda and her cousin Stephen, particularly for me because I didn't really care that much for either of them. And also maybe I guess because of The Sun in Splendor and Here Be Dragons and even The Reckoning, they have such sweeping romantic love stories that I adore. And When Christ and His Saints Slept was a bit more political, and there weren't that many romantic pairings out there. Still, this novel has a lot of good bits as well. I was particularly fond of the ones with young Henry II and Eleanor of Aquitaine. They were very thrilling. And I also really like the character of Ranulph, who is the author's only original main character. I thought that his storyline was very good, and it allowed the author to keep her link to Wales that she had already previously explored in the Welsh Princess trilogy. Still, there is one thing I would like to observe before I wrap up my review, and it's not actually something particular about this book, but about the author's overall general writing style. I've noticed that she always has a scene where people are talking and then a messenger arrives and breaks some news to them. And I mean, okay, people had to find out stuff somehow back then, and it's interesting to be in that moment when they are finding out about such and such news. But I don't think it's that ambitious or well thought of Penman to use it so much in her novels. But please don't get me wrong, she's my third favorite author ever. But as an aspiring writer myself and as an avid reader, I couldn't help but notice this little detail about her. Anyways, for the moment I believe this is all I have to say about When Christ and His Saints Slept. Thank you so much for watching my review of it. Please let me know if you enjoyed it or not, as well as what are your own thoughts on this story, because I would love to talk about it with you. In the description box below you can find a link to the book's Goodreads page, and over the next next couple of weeks I'm going to be posting the links as well to the other 2 books of this trilogy, so you can check them out as well. Anyways, I'm Caro Herrera, the Mental Traveler, and I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. I'll be seeing you soon. Goodbye!